Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land, and happy Halloween. I know, technically, it's not Halloween yet, at least if you're in America, but there are definitely some time zones here in the world where it is Halloween. To you, I wish happy Halloween, or if you prefer, Samhain. And since we're talking about other parts of the world who do celebrate Samhain, let me introduce my first guest, Mr. Grimm.
Evening all.
How you doing, Grimm?
I am all right. Yourself? Good?
I'm not too bad. Not too bad. I can't complain. And let's see. We've got Jace. I'm guessing it is
Hello.
Halloween over there in Norway.
Around 1 hour-ish. 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have the lovely Arwen. Who is
Sorry, I was muted. Hey, y'all. How's it going, everyone?
Pretty good. Probably going to get copyright claimed for the music on that intro, but I don't care.
Oh, it was good. It was really
happens.
good.
That is from Darkest Dungeon 2.
Nice.
Which
Yeah.
is
Loved
good.
it.
Yeah, Darkest Dungeon 2. Definitely good.
Got me in
as-
the mood for
Yeah.
Halloween.
I
for
cringe
Halloween.
I cringe every time I see the old logo of myself because it's updated now.
Okay. I'll fix it.
Nah.
Oh my gosh. Actually, I'll say
Yeah, well,
Darkest Dungeon and Darkest Dungeon 2 seriously remind me of one of Grimm's products, the Grimm book that he actually did for Grimdark, and of course Whitechester, which is still yet to be released. But
February, hopefully.
all right, yeah. But I was thinking, Grimm, do you actually play those?
Darkest Dungeon. Yeah, I played the hell out of the first one, though I never completed it. And I
Yeah.
bought the second one, though it's early release at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it so far, but it's familiar enough that you get lulled into thinking it's the same game when it isn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely got to recommend it. Let's see. Let's take a look at our audience out here. Let's see who do we got. We got Brightest. Hello, Brightest.
Hey, Zach.
Welcome.
hail to brightest day.
We have Snowdub. Snowdub, you know,
Hey.
I sent you an invite, dude. You're welcome to come on. We got room. Ash is going to be out this week.
And we have a lot of space.
You're roboting real bad, Jace.
Mm.
Yep. You might want to check your connection.
Yeah. Super crackly.
Super crackly. Super robot-y. But yeah, here's Ash's greetings for us. Yes, family does come first, and that's fine.
We missed you, Ash.
We will miss you. I invited Animane, but he is going out probably to enjoy Halloween festivities. I had a feeling we were going to be short of people today because everybody would be out doing, festival things. So
Is it still shit?
no, it's better. That's way better.
I'm not sounding bad
No,
now.
it's good.
You sound okay.
Mm-hmm.
You sure?
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's
Okay. It's just Crisp fucking with me.
What?
Crisp, the program I'm using to take the echo away and stuff like that. It's a
Yeah.
program to like make my microphone better, so it fucks up sometimes.
Oh, okay.
Sounds
Last
good
time
now.
I did this. Thank you. No, in the last stream, in the stream that I did with Ironcaster, my sound just muted. Like Crisp just muted my microphone all the fucking time. It's just like, fuck you, dude.
There's no fixing this. Fuck it. Just turn it off.
Yes.
Hell with it.
And speaking of Ironcaster, he would love to be with us, but he encountered some car problems. We wish him good luck.
Yeah.
He did say that if he could get home quick enough, he would make it.
Yeah. If
But-
not, people can catch him later on tonight with me. We are gonna have on his show. We are gonna have a crow show. We'll talk about the crow.
Nice.
Nice.
And I'm really happy with the intro that I spent my whole day of making.
It looked good to me.
Thank you. I used a lot of time to to do it.
Oh, I redid ours in about 30 minutes. I put a lot of thought into it.
It looked good.
Oh, I didn't even think about changing up the intro until, like literally like an hour before the show. And I started thinking, you know what? I should do something Halloween-y. Oh, I should change up the title. Oh.
Look good in the black and white, too.
Yeah, I thought it was more creepy that way.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have a fun announcement that I'm going to do.
What's your fun announcement that you're going to do?
Since, I've been listening to a lot of Brandon Lee interviews, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he always wanted to make the Crow movie black and white and have the flashbacks in colors to show that that's the life when he, when he was happy and it was a part of when he was alive, right? So I'm gonna edit the movie to be black and white and have the colors in the flashbacks and try to find and try to get some of the deleted scenes that are good and make kind of an extended version with black and white and colors in the flashbacks.
What a great idea.
Interesting.
Yeah, because he loves black and white movies, and I want to do that.
That would definitely suit the mood for that movie.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yep.
I have to admit, I'm not a big fan of black and white movies. I really like my color, but
yeah, but
you do you.
Wait,
well,
Sin City.
No, I still want to do it for Brandon Lee because he was one of my biggest inspirations, and it fits the vibe.
So cool. Yeah, it does. It fits the vibe very well.
I sent out notifications to everybody. I don't know if we're going to get anybody else tonight, but if we don't, then it's just us. Hey.
It's all good.
Thoth is not going to be available, so okay. So that's out. So I have no idea about Vlad, if he's going to make it or not, but it may just be the four of us, which y'all okay with that?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, sure, man.
Did you get a new tattoo in the center of your forehead?
Yes.
Jace, your face, you're so cute. It's the first time I've seen you. Like,
Hi.
actually seen you.
Yeah, I don't have the long hair at the moment, but...
Oh, did anybody here order Chinese food? Because Shitty Walk just showed up. It's Fat Steven. Sorry, I thought you were someone else.
Damn Mongolians.
Goddamn Mongolians! Sorry, I'm sorry. Goddamn Mongolians.
Shit, now you're going to get me banned in Mongolia.
Oh, goddamn Mongolians.
Yeah, a lot of internet viewers in Mongolia, I'm sure.
Yeah, but all 1%. Yeah, that's
Well, you get some great upload speeds out there in your yurt.
all right.
I don't know. That's what they call them.
I know. I just hearing it in everyday conversation. Never mind. Shit.
Arwen and Steven carpooling between what happened, guys? You don't want to tell me what's up with that?
We were just
What?
on Daryl's. We were just on Daryl's.
Well, because
Okay.
we have that thing happening at 7, right? The pub chats. So it's pretty much hold my hair while I try to talk.
Oh, I hadn't heard anything. So.
I've
It's on
already
the community
started.
tab. You should see it on your notification. Oh, okay. No, there's notifications on. Great.
Dude, I'm always kind of in my own little limbo. I've always got my own stuff going on.
Read Twitter, baby. Read Twitter.
I do,
Keep
but
up
only
with Twitter.
I only keep up with like the people being shitty to each other on it. Apparently, so.
Shitty walk here.
You gotta read the good stuff too.
Got to read the good stuff too.
Yeah.
My friend keeps telling me, don't engage with this shitty stuff, man, because you're putting shitty stuff back out there. I'm like, okay, but
Yeah.
What I
because
did
you-
is I made a list of all the people I actually care about and moved that to the front of my tweet deck and moved the general feed off to one side so I see it less often.
Can you
Much
do
better
that? I didn't know
experience.
you
How
could
do you
do that.
If you use TweetDeck on your desktop or laptop, then you can add columns for different lists and things.
I may have to try that
Nice.
because I'm always like scrolling and scrolling and
Uh-huh.
scrolling and scrolling, and I miss a lot of things that
feel
way.
ya.
And I keep getting like hits from completely random people about things I'm not even interested in.
Yeah, I hear you. What the hell
Yeah.
is this? Yep.
That's probably promoted tweets, isn't it?
Well, not even promoted tweets. It's just just like random stuff. Yeah, just
like
random shit.
someone on my list will like something from somebody who I don't even know, and that will come up, and I'm like, okay, scroll.
I almost feel bad for anybody following my Twitter feed, because every time I say something nice to what do you call them, a trap or a trans actress or something, I'm probably going, what the fuck is he doing? Why is this on my feed now? I have like 4 or 5 different trans artists all over my feed because T-shirt had said he liked one. Sorry, I'm just nice to everybody. I mean, trans are people too. So,
Well, you're always nice to my tweets. Thank you, T-shirt. I appreciate it.
I just don't acknowledge them. That's pretty much right. I don't acknowledge anyone's tweets, really. So
okay.
Sorry.
You know what it's like. You do anything and it trips an algorithm.
True, and it doesn't matter if it's positive or negative. I mean, if you pay any attention to it at all and make note of it, it gets noted.
Yep.
So the best way not to have bad stuff showing up on your feed, I guess, is just to not engage with it at all.
Yeah.
Like Brida says, don't feed the algorithm if you don't want the feedback. Yeah.
That's exactly why I stopped even just dealing with having logical arguments with people that refuse to say any more than their own freaking echo chamber. It's just a waste of energy.
Yeah.
It really is, but like occasionally if somebody is taking the piss out of a friend of mine, I feel inclined to step in and defend them.
That's different. I'm talking like they try to reply back saying, "Oh, then you're this or that," and you're just sitting there going, "Hey, well, you're the one engaging me, and now you blocked me because the logic in your world, the tiny and flat as it is, doesn't go any farther than what you perceive." And that's the funny part. It's just like you lose fun after a while having logic battle.
Yeah. Oh God. And speaking of algorithms and people feeding the Twitter trolls, etc., I had the stupidest shit happen to me like over the last couple of days. Somebody posted up a question in one of the Facebook groups about on a D&D feed that I'm on, and they were saying, should you? One of my players wants to play a Minotaur. Should I allow that? Why shouldn't I? And all this. And how would you handle it? With no context, really, it didn't tell me anything about the world or anything. And, a lot of people replied. My reply was real simple. It's kind of like, it's a published race. Why wouldn't you? What makes it any different than, somebody wanting to play a turtle or, something else? And some other guy I wasn't even talking to starts, explaining to me, well, in the Forgotten Realms, and I'm just like, dude, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to this other guy.
Yeah, it's got nothing to do with the person who asked you.
Yeah, I said the OP didn't give any context to any of this, so how am I supposed to reply to this? And he said, well, I did mention. And I said, okay, fine, I acknowledge you. Cool. And then he goes on to keep explaining some more. And I just really want to tell the guys, like, you know what? Shut the fuck up. I wasn't even talking to you, you dumbass.
You should have told him not to have a cow.
Ooh, yeah, that would have been good. I don't know though. He was
or
Polish.
What's your beef?
Yeah. That would have been good too.
Take a pill and settle down.
Or horn out of my conversation.
That's usually my go-to. Take something and settle down.
Yeah. Just it's like why don't you stick to the original poster, my friend? I got no interest in your shit.
Yeah. Pretty much.
It's like, if I want to talk to a cow, I live in fucking Texas. I'm more than happy to, go out there and.
God. Jeez.
But hell, we even got beefalo out here. Top that one.
What the hell's a beefalo?
You never heard of those?
No.
Yeah, people. Well, because
is it
the
a
buffalo.
live creature?
It's a real thing. Yeah, we got them out here.
Like a cross between a cow and a buffalo?
Basically, yeah, because the buffalo population started coming back, and so some people got this great idea to mix cow with buffalo, and so they get these big, beefy cows, and they call them beefalo, and they live out here. So,
are they sold as like something to eat? Can you eat it or?
Yeah, you can eat it. You can eat buffalo too. I've eaten buffalo. I like.
Yeah,
buffalo.
I've tried buffalo before. I've tried buffalo. It's okay, but
Buffalo hot dogs are good.
ooh, okay.
What? No, really.
I've never had. I see. I'm not into hot dogs in general. I mean, Oscar Mayer beef, fine, but that's about it.
Oh, I grew up on hot dogs, so I'm okay with them.
Damn sausage
Jace.
dodgers.
That's right, Jace. I know you eat sausage.
Way too much. No, I don't eat much hot dogs in real life.
And Crisp has converted you into Tron again. It did it again, dude.
I have no idea what's happening.
Crunchy.
Crispy, crunchy. I don't mean to call you out on it, dude. Make you feel bad. It just keeps happening.
It's just we can't hear you.
Yeah, because we want to hear you.
I don't speak 80 kilobyte modem. I'm sorry.
Oh, Jace, you're so cute. We don't give a shit. We don't care.
That's true.
Sweetheart.
That's true.
Oh,
And
you-
That's not true. Aaron says she cares, so I don't know what that is. You say in the back, goddamn robot voices everywhere. What the hell do we do now? I'm kidding.
What about now?
there you go. Now it's back.
You sound good
Sounds
now.
good. Sounds good.
Now it's back. Fucking A. I had to turn off Crisp, so you.
Just turn Crisp
You sound
off.
good.
Just
It's fun.
Yeah, that's what I did.
crispy. All right. So, anybody got anything cool?
Thanks for calling me cute.
Oh, you're welcome. I didn't call you cute though.
I hate it. No, I know. But I
You're
hate
so
being called
I'm
adorable.
sorry.
Adorable.
I don't. All right, I won't use the word cute. I'm sorry. You're a handsome
Yes.
man. Is that better?
You're so precious.
cute. Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
know I have a fucking baby face.
No.
It's a
Yeah, you do.
disease in my
No.
family.
But you're a baby. You're not even
You're like-
30 yet.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
like the baby mix.
You know, we're just gonna do that.
Oh, Chase. No.
Stop.
Trying to make you feel self-conscious or anything.
Does anyone else hear blushing? I hear blushing. I hear blushing.
No, but I'm gonna have a cigarette, so I normally don't smoke on camera. So
Why?
Okay.
because that's a thing that it's always been like that. I
Put down
normally
that
don't like-
cigarette and have a sausage.
It sets a bad example for the kids.
Oh, says the guy who drinks on the stream. Yeah.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with drinking as long as you find your feet. Where are my feet?
Yeah, I've been drinking my wine too.
I think half
already,
the internet's
so-
been drinking tonight. Hey, Mackany.
Okay,
we got
fuck it.
Mackany.
Hey, Mackany.
Hashtag fuck Mac.
Mackany, we got room out here if you want some. Just let me know. And Grim, what did you just drink?
I drank some communism.
Oh yeah.
Communism.
Is it your dad's brand or?
Good.
Yeah, it's my dad's moonshine. I've nearly run out, so I'll be on the whiskey again soon. Not that I'm allowed to drink very much, but a wee nip won't hurt.
A wee nip. There you go.
Drop
Oh
of
my
creature.
gosh. Yes. All right. Well, I got to get Mackany on, so you guys converse a little bit.
So how about that local sports team?
No, not like that.
No.
You're doing it wrong.
I heard they sportsed quite well.
I hear they hit the balls with those wooden objects and somehow you yell goal and
Oh man,
stuff
oh, man.
like that. I don't know.
I heard they converted a basket into something.
Into what?
I heard the Beefalo shooters are fantastic down where
There you
the
go.
t-shirt comes from.
Don't forget to leave cake and a glass of milk out for your big titty goth girlfriend tonight, because it is Halloween Eve.
Don't forget to butter the doorways too, so they can get in to get
I
those
don't
cookies.
have a big titty goth girlfriend, but okay.
Well,
Leave the forklift.
because you're
at the
not
door.
leaving cake and milk out. That's why. You leave,
Got it. If I start, I might have one, huh?
yeah. If you leave that out, they'll turn up.
What happens if
Leave
you
your
leave like a
presents.
bottle? What happens if you leave a bottle of Jack and some cheese out?
Then Fat Steven shows up.
Oh, thanks, Graham. Thanks a lot. And haven't you guys all heard this saying? If you frost it, they will come.
What are we frosting?
Oh my God, I'm out. I'm out. Done.
No, that was a legitimate question.
Well,
Okay.
You're gross.
you know,
I
you
am
can eat
gross,
anything
yeah.
with frosting.
Okay.
I
Use
don't
your
know about
imagination.
anything. Oh my God.
Oh my God, y'all.
This Week in Geek was brought to you by Perverted Aneurysms.
Dun, 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 dun,
Stay
dun.
tuned.
I
And
ask
speaking of-
questions, that's all.
And speaking of perverted, here we have Mackany.
Mackany.
That was That was a great sign-in right there. I thought you were about to say, speaking of perverted aneurysms. I was like,
Chris,
what?
man.
Oh, you're not an aneurysm.
If you haven't fucked Mackany today yet, you gotta keep it. Hey, Snow. Sorry,
Hey, Chris.
Mackany, love you.
Hail to my co-host.
You remember the one game? Remember that's where
I know.
Yeah,
it's just that the case that sentencing seems to feel like you haven't fucked Mackany yet, then you probably should.
If you haven't fucked Mackany, you will. You will.
Oh my god.
Frost that
How y'all
shit.
doing?
Hey, Makini, good to see you.
Good to see you. Good to see y'all. It's been like busy over here. I'm trying
What
to
do you-
kill this. Oh,
What do you-
work. Dumping a bunch of videos out, doing
Say high
live
heels?
streams.
Mhm.
Yes, I said Hot Wheels.
Oh! I thought he said high heels. I was
No,
like,
no.
You know what's going through
no.
t-shirts, man? Mackany, put on some heels. I want to see how those look.
That's not good. That's not good. No, work. I've been putting out like a bunch of videos all this past couple weeks. Been live streaming like crazy, and now I got a new sticker drop that I'm about to announce. So I'm like, yay! And I still got more to do, and I got to work Sunday, so I got to move the stream to tomorrow night for Halloween. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot. It's been very busy, I'll put it that way. So trying to enjoy as much as I can.
that's good.
It's a
That's
good
awesome.
plan.
All right. Well, let's see. What do we got coming up? We got what? Eternals coming up in November. Okay.
Well,
So-
some other news.
News.
Oh, what?
You remember that time we talked about?
Wait, Wait, what is Eternal? Wait, are we talking about Eternals? What?
Returnals. REE dash. Never mind. Fuck spelling that shit.
From the
Okay,
sound
so
of it should be
that's gonna-
called
that's gonna
interminables.
Yeah. Or
It's
terminals.
called-
Like
It's
terminally
so bad.
comatose.
It was actually called. It was originally called the only movie that Angelina Jolie and Salma Hayek's tits will not save.
So we've
Well,
heard.
yeah.
You would think that would be the selling point of the film. I'm just
It would
saying.
be.
Well,
I think
considering
people would blink and they'd miss it because it sounds like
Yeah,
such a
yeah.
news fest.
it does.
It wouldn't keep your interest. You'd still be bored. You just
Yeah.
oh.
Hmm.
I
I'm
see that on the internet. I pass. You know.
I'm mildly curious, but as of yet, I have not seen anything that makes me want to see the film. I mean,
No.
there's nothing about the trailers that interests me. There's no
And the
hype.
interviews,
nothing.
about the movie.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Everything
Oh.
I've seen has just annoyed me, and I don't want to be annoyed before I go to a movie. So pass.
I was like, wow, this is the first MCU film. I was like, you know what? Say what you want about Captain Marvel. At least the trailer wasn't boring.
Yeah.
This
Mm-hmm.
is, and a lot of times it's worse. Sometimes it's worse being boring than being just bad.
Yeah. And that poster they put out. Oh, y'all. Sorry, train. That poster they put out. Fucking A. No, thank you. It looks like they took all the individual actors, took pictures of them, and then cobbled them together, which I know they do that on a lot of things anyway. But at
this looks
least they
cheaply looked.
hide it. Yes, this you can tell they've done it. And I'm like, come on,
Zax.
y'all. Give
Just
us a
like
program.
we do not give any less of a crap about this. We're trying to hide this ourselves.
No,
We're
fucks given.
oversaturated. That's the point. We're at the point where it's oversaturation.
Yeah.
We're just sitting there going.
It's weird though, because you look at the original Eternals comic books, and it's all that Kirby weirdness,
Mhm.
which they managed to pull off for Guardians of the Galaxy, and yet there's no attempt to reflect pretty much any of Kirby's.
I
work
am
in it.
led to believe that in this lifetime, we'll never see a really good interpretation of any of Jack Kirby's creations.
Isn't that sad? It's sad to think
It
that.
really is.
But I think you're right.
Like the closest so far is like probably Darkseid in the Snyder cut, but that's about it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm just not excited about it. I think it would be. I would like to see it, but at the same time, I'm still kind of like,
No,
I don't know.
not gonna pay for it. If I'm gonna see it, I'm gonna make it so I can get it for free.
Exactly.
Throw your eye patch on.
Exactly.
You're gonna go be a Viking raider because obviously that's more that's better than being a pirate, right?
And I don't want to pay for that movie in case I'm gonna walk out.
Wait, we're supposed to pay for it?
No,
Yes.
I think it's the case that
That's their
you could
plan.
pay us to see this, and I still won't see it.
Oh, and
Yeah.
I'm happy that I have friends that works in the cinema business. So
well, and speaking of movies that I paid for recently, I did go see Dune last week.
oh, you did.
How was it?
I did.
It is. It's good.
I'll-
I like it
I'll-
at least.
I'll be honest. Okay. Cinematically, visually, it's gorgeous, man. It looks great. I had no problem with the way anything looked. I thought the aesthetics were really cool. Baron Harkonnen is very understated, because in the books and everything like that, he's supposed to be dressing in finery and all these kind of things because he's a nobleman.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really, looking like a giant slug doesn't really, look like noble to me, especially. But okay, you do you. But what puzzles me and really kind of made me unhappy is the fact that they had 3 hours to tell half of the story. And in 3 hours, we got less story and characterization than we did out of the Lynch film from the 80s. In fact, there were characters who were completely not present in the film, like Fade Routha did not show up in the film at all.
Did they
You
add
barely-
filler? Did they add filler, or did they just stretch out what they had? Because I haven't seen it yet.
I kind of felt like a lot of it was stretched out because there's a whole lot of Paul having visions of Chani all the time.
Mhm.
There's lots of long lingering shots of desert landscapes or people or whatever. There's like some stuff that I don't remember it being in the book. Like at one time Paul comes across this guy who's watering these series of date palm trees that are outside and they're supposed to be sacred. And the guy's telling him, oh yeah, each one of these takes 5 men worth of water to to survive every day and all this, and they're sacred, and then they get burned up just about about 30 minutes later when the Harkonnens attack.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, why did you bother to include this?
For me, I've never seen Dune or read anything Dune before I saw this movie. So for me, I liked it for what it was. Could have, of course, it dragged out a little bit on certain things, but overall, it's one of the better movies I've seen in a long, long goddamn time.
Yeah, and I was
I've
concerned
heard
that
that a lot.
I was
far
concerned.
Does it go then? Does it just go to where the Harkonnens and the Sardaukar betray House Atreides and then stop after they've run away to the Fremen?
Yeah, pretty much. They include the fight with between Paul and Jameis in this one.
Yeah.
Which was, in the book, and it was a deleted scene in the original 80s one. But right after that, they pack up Jameis in the his little water bag thing and carry them off to the siege, and that's pretty much where they stop right there.
Makes sense if you are doing 2 movies. He's lucky he got the second movie, but it makes sense to do this one as the downfall, the constant downward story slope, and then have the second one be the upward slope.
Mm-hmm. A lot of this movie is spent on Caladan, so that's kind of different. But the thing is, there's like almost no characterization whatsoever. Like let's say the first 30 to 45 minutes of the 80s version of Dune, or let's be generous, call it the first hour of Dune in the 80s version. You will learn more about every single character in that movie than you will watching this one, because in this one they don't even mention names. I don't think the Beast Raban ever even gets mentioned by name. So it's kind of like, okay, look, it's Batista wandering around in the film. We never hear who his name is, though. We don't know who he is. We just know he's some big dude who reports to Baron Harkonnen. That's nice. we Dr. Huey just kind of like shows up, leaves, shows up, leaves. We have no real insight into his character other than that, at one point he finally does betray, and it's to save his wife. And okay,
Do they
that's
explain how that's a thing with the Sook doctors, that they can't do that
Nope.
normally? No?
nope. They didn't bother to explain the imperial conditioning.
So neither show nor tell.
Nope.
Wow.
Nope. They told nor showed anything. They
that's
don't.
That's a big criticism of the Lynch one, was that massive info dump at the beginning with Princess Irulan. But I always thought that worked.
Yeah.
And kind of, made the point and got the vital information across, and then you could get into the film.
Yeah. Yeah. But very little of that is even discussed. You never discover anything about Piter de Vries at all. You don't know what a mentat is because they're not mentioned. And even though Huey and Piter are both in the film, there's nothing you learn about either one of them. They're just guys with little marks on their lips. Okay, that's nice, but it's not the stain of the Safu, which is in the book.
Okay.
It's just like a little lip stain, or like a little lip mark, like they put on like a little bit of lipstick.
Okay, you know the books and you know the story. So
Mhm.
watching it from that perspective, with your mind filling in the gaps, was that still a good experience?
Because I already knew all the history and the story and everything else, yeah, that film worked fine for me because I already knew it. And I kind of feel like that's what Denis Villeneuve was expecting, was that you're supposed to have read this book before you watch this film.
Oh, okay.
Right? What do you mean? What was I talking about? Hawat? Yeah, Thufir Hawat. Yeah. Thufir.
But Jace, you said you haven't had any experience with the
No.
books.
I have not at all. It's just my dad. He's a big Dune fan, not
Yeah.
me.
They skipped the Jessica Suspicion arc. Oh, hey, Monkey Jeebus. Yeah, the movie isn't made for casuals or people that have been interested in the books. Yeah, which is why I am frustrated and annoyed with this sudden influx of new Dune fans who are praising this movie as being so awesome and all this. And I'm just like, your only experience of this franchise is this film. This is a terrible starting point for you.
But the movie made me interested to know more about the original story, the books, and watch the old movie and TV series.
Okay, that being the case, Jace, I'm going to tell you this. All you need to read is Dune, Dune Messiah, and Children of Dune. If you want, you can read God Emperor of Dune. Don't read past that. You won't like it. You won't like it. Beyond that, you won't like it. In fact, you could probably skip God Emperor of Dune. You'd be all right.
Okay.
And definitely don't read any of the shit that was published after Herbert died. Don't do it.
No, I've seen
do
that,
that to yourself.
my local comic shop has gotten more Dune comics or something. Last time I was there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Brightest Day, you got attacked on Nerd Cookie stream when you said the movie required you to know something? Wow, that's shitty.
Oh, that's messed up.
Yeah. Yeah, Chris, I would agree. If the film brings people to the franchise, I'm glad, but I hope they'll take the time to read the books and delve into it, because I've already seen people jumping up on Twitter saying, I heard about Dune, so I checked. I kind of read through the wiki, and okay, so my basic take on the film is, men good, women bad, and I'm just like, let me try to break this down. Okay, we have Frank Herbert, who wrote this in the '60s, who not only had an insanely good grasp of human interaction, but also politics, AI, genetic, eugenics, I should say, politics, and even made an allegory on the situation in the Middle East at the time, which has continued on to this day, as well as space travel and even the God complex or the Messiah complex, and religion and religious fervor. All of these topics are meshed into the Dune framework. And this is the thing that you boiled it down to, is that men good, women bad. Really?
The ones going on about colonialism and white savior, I think, are missing the point even worse.
Oh, hell
I know.
yes.
Yeah.
Come
Hell
on,
yes.
yeah.
Because it's like
Yeah.
the opposite. And it's not like the Fremen are native to Arrakis in any case.
Mm-hmm.
People were coming back at you saying, no, my normie friends followed it. Yeah, well, that movie is easy to digest and swallow if you don't know anything. But there's so much more to know.
So it's a Dunning-Kruger film. You'll enjoy it if you know nothing or if you know a lot, but anything in between.
Yeah, I mean, I do hope it brings more people in, but I also hope those people are going to be willing to dive into the lore and, educate themselves on the reality of the thing, because that shit is so complex, and Denis, although he did a really beautiful film, didn't really, there's so much of that film that had no character, no world building, no nothing. There's, nothing about it. It's like Dune in a vacuum.
If it'll get people hooked enough to read the books,
Mhm.
that would be a great thing. If it'll get them interested enough to go, you know what, I want to go check out that book, and then they read the series,
Mhm.
and it would fill in those gaps. That would be marvelous, because it's been a long time since I've seen a movie that made me want to read the book.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but at
that's
least for me, I'm happy that I went to watch it, and I'm happy that it made me want to read more of Dune and watch the old stuff. So
Good.
I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
That's
Now,
awesome.
there are a lot of things I do praise about this film. In the 80s version, David Lynch introduced the weirding module, because the concept of Paul's name, Muad'Dib, being used as a killing word, in other words, people taking up religious fervor in the name of someone, a crusade, if you will, is the basis of the book. And instead he said, well, I don't really want, people doing martial arts out there in the desert. So we're going to make this sci-fi weapon and just use that to fill in the gap, which is something I didn't like in the original 80s version.
Yeah, sorry, you're asking. Did they say that that's why they didn't want to use guns or such like that and switch to just more hand-to-hand combat with the action scene?
Hey, Iron.
So what it
Hey,
is
brother.
Get
to see it.
What it is in the game, in the world, is that lots of people have those personal shields, right?
Right.
Bullets won't penetrate them. Only slow, close combat moves will get through.
Right.
Them. And you can't shoot laser weapons at them, or they go off like an atom bomb.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
So you can't do that. So there are in-world reasons for why martial arts, why close combat is so important. The way Lynch dealt with that with the sonic weapons was that I agree it's a step too far from the books, but if you think about it, it's quite clever as a way to deal with the technological issues. It's a weapon that can penetrate the shield because you can hear through the shield, so clearly sound can pass through it. So from a technological standpoint, it's an interesting solution. It's just a step too far away from the books, I think.
And they never tell you any of that about the about the shields and how they work and stuff like that, which led to, of course, people jumping up on Twitter and being smarmy and going, I can't believe we have a civilization that has spaceships and interstellar travel and personal shields and anti-gravity and all this other super duper technology, and they're not shooting each other with laser guns and stuff.
Yeah.
And then, of course, everybody, telling us well, that's because they had shields that explode when you shoot lasers at them.
Yeah. Did they cover anything of the Butlerian Jihad?
Nothing at all. You don't find
the most important sort of underpinning to the whole thing.
No. There's nothing about the Butlerian Jihad. There's nothing about the machine revolt on Ix. And why they don't use computers, why they use people to compute instead of computers. That's what I'm saying, Grim. They just left so many of the really interesting world building details out of this movie. So it's just everyone feels kind of
All right.
hollow.
Question then. So what you're saying is, if we watch like the Herbert one, like the one where you have the princess in and talking about spice and space travel, in the way they have divided not just the character development but the world development, they've taken out all the things that are what make people interesting, as well as what the history behind it makes interesting, because they want to know more of why they have this tech or why this is that, what a mentat is, why they became mentats, what was the color. They've taken that all that down and dumbed it down to a pretty much beautiful looking hooked on phonics for Dune.
Pretty much. The only character who really gets any development is Paul. The movie is all Paul centric. Everything is from Paul's point of view.
Hmm.
That's what's frustrating though, because Paul is learning and so on. He gets tutelage, he gets taught to fight, he gets all of these. That's the perfect framing device for exposition to the audience, is having Paul recite his lessons. Or, Paul, what did you learn today about the Butlerian Jihad? Blah 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 blah. But you missed this. You must apply yourself. Smack. You could do it like that. It's perfect.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, that's actually brought up a few times. Like at one point, they have to, Paul in the film sees the computer show the visual representation of how the Fremen have to walk without rhythm, that sand dance thing that they do.
Right.
And then he recites it to his mom when they're stuck out in the deep desert, where he says, well, this is how they're supposed to do it if my tutoring videos are correct. So
Hologram Christopher Walken.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Teach you about cowbell.
Yeah.
Hey,
We
we gotta walk this way.
Oh man.
One of the things I did really like with the movie, and it might be a bit subjective, I'm sure, but while you did get a sense that for a lot of it, you don't really get a sense of who Paul is or what does Paul want, but it is part of his situation in life, where being in this position, the son of this Duke, and being groomed for a position for a seat of power, he never really gets a chance to make any choices for himself until he's at the end, until he's being presented the ring, and his mother's trying to continue to make those decisions for him. And now here he is saying, no, we're going to stay.
Mm-hmm. That's also true. He's very much kind of like led by the nose throughout the entire film up until that point when he starts to awaken after having contact with the spice. There are a lot of things the film did really, really well. That's why it's very hard for me to just completely take a shit on this film and say, oh, no, don't go see this. It's a piece of absolute human waste. Because it's not. It's a good film. And they got a lot of things right. You get a good sense of, how the Fremen live, especially their cultures and custom. Like when Stilgar shows up and spits, basically offering his body's water, and things like this. I mean, the film is full of great little things, but it misses so many other big things that it's just kind of like, God damn, dude, you had such a great opportunity here to have a complete story and you fucking missed it. And it's so frustrating. So that just tells me that we're going to have another Dune film in about 30 years that hopefully gets it right this time.
I mean, really, it should just be like they should have just gone for the, I hate to say it, the Game of Thrones treatment, where we actually do like a 10-hour series just for this movie.
Which is kind of sad because Sci-Fi did that and actually presented the closest version of Dune to the novel you're gonna get. And hello, Keely Chow, how are you? And Purple Valkyrie, is great to see you.
Hey.
Thank you for being here. Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, I'm still looking forward to the second part. I'm still gonna see it. They did include some extra stuff in this film that is not in the books, like Duncan Idaho has a larger part in this film than he has previously had. Actually rescuing Paul and Jessica out in the desert after surviving the attack on Arrakeen, which he dies in the book originally in the attack on Arrakeen. But I guess that's just because, they really love Jason Momoa and they wanted to make a lot of use of that actor. One thing they got super duper right that I thought was so awesome in the film, it's the first film I've ever seen where they got ornithopters more or less exactly as they're described in the books. Like the giant dragonfly looking things. Because in the books, they're supposed to flap their wings to take off and all that, and everything else has gotten it wrong. So I was very happy for that.
I was busy trying to find a bunch of really good photos of some of the spaceships from this so I can add them to the mix, but I haven't been able to find anything I'm too happy with yet. So
this didn't show you anything.
Well, that too.
And hey Chris, how are you?
I'm good. And how about you guys?
I'm good.
Pretty well. Good to see you.
Yeah, same.
All right. Well, Arwen's back. Yay!
I'm back.
Hey.
Sorry about that.
Arwen, I'm curious what your what is your background on Dune? I mean, have you read it and all that stuff?
Well, I've started reading it. My late husband loved the books, so he read it and he talked to me about it, and I felt like I knew all the characters. I saw the Lynch movie. I loved it. Hell, we even named our daughter after Jessica because I was so in love with that. Just the elegance and grace and beauty of that character. And I'm like, that's what I want to name my daughter. But I've started reading the book for myself, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it. I don't know if I'm going to see the movie in the theater. I haven't decided yet. I want to, but we'll see. But I'm definitely going to see it.
Yeah, I plan on seeing it in 2 Sundays with my sister's fiance.
Awesome. Me llamo es El Perro de Rover.
It's El Perro de Rover. Hello, ¿cómo estás, El Perro?
Hey, honey.
Hey, Perro. Me no gusta the old movie Dune.
Oh, really? How
no
come?
bien.
It's no bien?
¿Por
Okay,
qué?
why do you say why?
You have to watch 5 movies just to see the halfway.
1, 2, 3, 4 movies?
See, just to see half of the original movie.
Okay, who let my special out? I'm supposed to cook it.
Oh my gosh.
You're not cooking me. No cooking.
I'm cooking a perro. Shit,
No.
chicken.
No cooking.
Yes,
Okay, you bring it.
I'm cooking like the last Jedi review.
It's no bien.
I make El Perro kebab.
He's a shitty walk. He's bad to the perros.
Put me closer.
Oh, and we got Vlad. Vlad showed up. Yay, Vlad.
Come here, dog.
Hey, Glad.
What's going on?
Hey,
Did
you see Dune, Vlad?
I did not.
You have not yet. Okay, so we're spoiling the shit out of it, so.
Well, I'm only here for a minute to say hi anyway, so that's fine.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad you showed up,
Good
man.
to see you, man.
Puto.
Hey.
Hello.
Get you back in the ball.
No, I usually don't get to see movies because I think I've said this before. I've got a very good friend of mine from high school who I'm still very tight with, and he moved away to Connecticut about 2 years ago, to work as a traveling nurse. So usually anything to do with going to the movies, I wait until he's in town because he doesn't have a chance to see anything really because he's working all the time as a nurse.
Okay.
His hours are crazy, so he usually waits until he's here because it's something that we've always done. So
Okay.
so if I say I haven't seen a movie, it's I'm waiting on my friend. So
Okay.
how bad was
That's
it?
understandable. Okay. Okay. That's what we were saying. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It was enjoyable, but it's incomplete. I mean, and I'm not just saying just because it stopped halfway through, the thing. It's just that there's almost no world building, no character development, no inner monologue, nothing.
That doesn't.
And I think they mentioned this on Friday Night Tides last night, that the director will not be releasing a director's cut. He said this is the movie that he intended to make.
Wow.
As well as the whole... It's unfortunate that they did not let anyone know. They didn't make this as part of their advertisement. This is the first part of a story that they planned on doing.
Part 2 got green-lighted.
Yeah, and just recently, like within the last week or so, which is it's kind of short-sighted. It's like they weren't entirely behind this movie. They weren't exactly seeing this was going to be successful, so they were kind of holding back their cards to see how it was going to go first before saying, "Oh yeah, there's going to be a part 2, by the way."
This does not sound good to me.
Well, I mean, from what I've heard from a lot of people is that you're either going to be in two camps. You're either going to be in the camp that says, "Okay, it's pretty good," or you're going to be in the camp of, "Well, this was pretty boring."
Which is the problem I had with every other adaptation of Dune. They've been pretty dull and boring.
Oh, okay. Well, then this will probably bore you more than the others.
I mean, that's
because it's very slow moving.
I've been getting a lot of enjoyment out of watching the people who hate this movie because it doesn't have all the Marvel quippiness that they were expecting.
Oh
yeah, I've seen a couple comments like that saying,
"Really,
this is an okay movie, but it's just not as good as a Marvel movie."
Oh,
it's not a quippy story.
It's not an MCU movie either. It's not an MCU movie either.
Yeah, like from the way I see
movies.
it.
What the fuck?
Yeah, like from the way I see it, and this is coming from just I have no experience in the books or the original films whatsoever. I see this like a slow build up, a slow burn, like you would at a Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings film. It's supposed to be an epic fantasy. Therefore, you kind of have to go with that. Therefore, I think you're going to get the most out of it if you kind of go with that approach to see it as an epic fantasy, because there's a lot of build up. It is a slow burn, but there's a lot of build up. There's a lot of lore. There's so much that's going to build up to something that's really epic.
This history.
It is not as good as The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi is the greatest Star Wars movie ever.
Oh,
I do not want you to look at
him. Someone mute him.
Okay, I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to fight.
Mongolian special should not talk.
I am sitting in the yard. I make a shitty walk his side dish.
I'm gonna put you back in fortune cookie and let you be eaten by.
Let me release the Norwegian Kraken.
You're gonna be part of the Oprah Winfrey buffet.
You're gonna see that Viking fighting spirit.
And if I can't finish it all, do I get a doggy bag?
Oh,
Jack is talking.
Hail to you guys. Hail to Midnight's Edge. Tom, it is so great to see you out there, man. Did you bring Andre too? Stop that. Stop it. I will throw your ass off. Stop that. Bitch. You fucking.
Oh.
Oh no.
That's right.
Those motherfuckers.
That's right. Anyway. Oh, he's still doing it.
There is definitely a lot in Dune that obviously won't make it into the movie. It's kind of sad that they didn't make. You do have to find that perfect line of explaining enough, but not over-explaining to where it kind of drags the movie down.
Oh my gosh! No, is it Andre? It's Andre. It's not Tom. Oh my God, Andre! Hey, it's great to see you.
Okay.
Quick, Jace, tell me how to say hi in Norwegian.
Hi.
Okay.
He got starstruck. The next thing you know, it's like, "Where's my lipstick? I gotta kiss her."
Hey, I love Andre. Anytime Andre shows up to a stream, it's like gold. You know, it's like I love that guy. He's great. Our Conan discussion was awesome.
Tell him today. Hallå.
Hi.
Gott att se deg.
No, Andre.
We're talking a little bit of Dune right now, Andre. I guess you know about that. I know you've already seen it, so. Damn, I wish we could get him on the panel just so we could hear what he has to say about this. Andre, if you're free.
Idioten her ikke skjønner en dritt av hva
Oh, I
jeg
needed
sier,
that so
Andre.
bad.
I understand. I think that's my cue to exit, so I will.
No, it's not.
Wow.
Here, since I'm the one that's actually got stuff to do, why don't I hop off so you can let Andre in?
If he wants to, I don't know. But Vlad, I do thank you for stopping in, man.
I don't know how long you guys are going to
nice to see you again, Vlad.
So.
Okay.
I just got to run an errand and I got to do a couple other things. If you're going to go for like a couple hours, yeah, I'll come back. So.
Well, I don't know if we can go for a couple hours, but we'll see.
Yeah, I just noticed it's been an hour already, but that's totally cool.
All right. Well, thank you for being here, and if you come back, hey, awesome.
Sure. All right. Peace out, guys. Good to see you.
Peace out, man. Take care.
Vlad. And we lost Pero too. It was like, wait.
He's still in there.
So yeah, does anyone have any scary stories for today to share? Because
Sure.
I do.
A long time ago in a far-off galaxy, far, far away, Kathleen Kennedy gave us the sequel trilogy.
Today is the anniversary of the purchase.
Yes,
it is.
Oh,
Yes.
I'm gonna get a beer.
Yes, it is.
I'll right back.
A dark day indeed.
Today is the day that Lucas sold off Lucasfilm to Disney, and the beginning of Lucasfilm becoming Kennedy Films.
Oh, here we go. Hang on a second. Hey, welcome to the stream, Andre.
Hello,
Greetings,
Andre.
everyone.
Hey, Andre.
Hello, Andre.
Could Arwen say that any more seductively?
Oh no, I didn't. I swear to God, no.
I was like, okay.
It's
It's a little hot in here right now.
I've been drinking one, so it's all good.
Andre, can you feel the love?
It's awesome.
You
Glad to be
feel the love.
Oh my God.
Okay,
Hey,
so
Andre.
all right, so Andre, we were discussing the Dune film. We've kind of been hashing out a little bit. I am curious to see what you think.
Well, I said what I thought like 6 weeks ago when it first
know.
opened in Norway. But to briefly recap, I thought that the movie is visually, it's an absolute feast. It's a masterpiece. I was a little bit tainted because I had read the script, and the script is the best script I've ever read, bar none. And I didn't think that the movie quite lived up to the script, but it's still very good. And the most important thing is that audiences that aren't familiar with the books or the story appear to be getting the story anyway. That's the most important thing. So kudos to Denis Villeneuve for having done that.
Okay.
It was a little bit on the pretentious side here and there, especially when it came to the score, which I'm not a fan of. But overall, solid experience. Very happy that we'll be getting a part 2. I was quite nervous about that, given that they botched the release worse than I've seen any release botched before. And just think about it, right? Because everyone that I know, at least in the States, wanted to see the movie 6 weeks ago, which is when it first was released in select markets in Europe, right? That's when you got the reviews. That's when me and a whole host of others reviewed it. Everyone that I know were desperate to see it then. But then when it opened in the rest of the world, in all the major markets, I got the impression that much of the hype had kind of waned a little bit. If they had been that clever, they would have done what they did with the Avengers, drop it like 1 week earlier internationally, benefit from all of the word of mouth, drive people to a frenzy, and then drop it a week later. Not 6 weeks later, because then hype has kind of like gone a little bit. So I think that they left maybe $60 million at the table by doing it the way that they did, between like the really delayed release in the major markets, plus dropping it day and date on HBO Max. I'm sure 60 million were lost doing that, minimum.
I'm curious. How do you feel about them not including large sections of the lore in the film?
That's one of the things that disappointed me, actually, because in the script they had handled that so magnificently. The way that they went through the history of the war against the machines and why you have mentats and everything like that. It was like explained in such a great way in the script, really unobtrusively. And the same thing with even the pardon me, even the feuding between House Harkonnen and House Atreides. This was all explained magnificently in the script. And it was all gone, completely gone in the finished movie. So I was actually really disappointed by it. However, the most important thing that this can do is to get the quote-unquote normies on board. And I think that they made the choice not to overwhelm people with information and world building, and rather focus on the story at hand to get people invested in that. And then you have ample opportunity to world build later. And it's difficult to disagree with that approach. So I think that's what they were going for.
Okay. You know, in the books, you know, Baron Harkonnen is supposed to be, you know, pretty flamboyant. You know, he talks down to people a lot because usually he acts like he's the smartest guy in the room at all times, whether
because he frequently is, also, depending on who else is in the room with him. And that's something that we didn't really get to see so much of. Honestly, have you, everyone else on the panel, have you seen the 2000s miniseries?
No.
It's down my list. I definitely intend to watch it.
Yeah, it's on my list. Both.
I've only seen the 80s movie.
Was that the sci-fi series?
Yes.
It was like the three-part. It was the Children of Dune, right?
Yes, exactly.
I had to watch that twice because it was hard for me to apply myself to it. But once you got into it, because it was a lot more religious focused, I realized, and I was trying to get it from a different perspective.
Yeah, because if you just focus in on the first one, that one that was adapting the full story of Dune, I would say that it has the best Baron Harkonnen on screen to date, because that one had a fairly flamboyant Baron, but at the same time, you saw how he really was the devious one. He didn't really need the Mentat, because it was mostly his plan to begin with the first place. And the way that Ian McNeice played him, you really saw this is a brilliant, brilliant guy. Wicked and cruel, but brilliant.
May I ask you a question, Andre?
Sure.
You just described the whole thing, how they're not trying to overwhelm audiences. But let's say the people that know the history or know the books or have an attachment to it are hoping to see that. Do you think it's diminished the respect to those fans, or they're just trying to get it for a generation that's now current rather than focusing on all of them?
I think that it's simply a matter of getting as many people on board as possible. And yeah, you can make the point that it's going to be not disrespectful, because I don't think anything here is disrespectful.
I made the wrong word. Diminished. How about diminished?
But yeah, I think that the existing fans, for the most part, will be really happy with everything that's there on screen. And like me, they may be disappointed with the world building that isn't there. But at the same time, that's like the director's choice, and he may have made the right one based on the response. Personally, I would have liked a little bit more world building.
I've heard, though, that the director has nailed it, at least with the cinematography, when it comes to scale building, like the sizes of things towards the actual size of the humanity or the humans or characters within the screens. And he does that so well that it gives you that feeling of how tiny you actually are compared to their constructions.
Yes, yeah, like everything seemed real. It really felt like being taken away to a different world. It really did feel that way watching it. So he did nail that, absolutely, I felt.
Was the betrayal plot line involving, you know, Lady Jessica and Dr. Yui, was that in the original script at all?
No.
Oh, because now I can't help but wonder if maybe they intentionally didn't put that in to try and help streamline the story more.
I think so. I think that was always going to be on the top.
Yeah. I would have liked to have seen more of Dr. Yui.
Sadly,
by the way, I think would be a perfect Mr. Sinister for X-Men.
Oh yeah.
Sadly,
sure.
whenever you're adapting a literal literature story to a visual story, you unfortunately do have to cut out things because you can't show everything, or else it kind of bogs down the visual story.
That's exactly right, and I think that's what they did here.
Yeah.
There are many things where they made cut, and honestly, when you think about it, the Doctor Yui storyline, it's pretty expendable in the bigger scheme of things, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Because he is.
How
he's
many
kind of a
how
small
many others
character.
here on the panel had seen the movie?
Not yet. No,
Not yet.
In 2 Sundays.
Not yet.
I
Okay,
rewatched the
uh,
original. Sorry, it was free on YouTube, so I rewatched it again. I love the intro. I love that princess when she starts.
But
I love it so
Which
much.
version of it did you see
Oh.
on YouTube?
I think it's the director. Not. There's also. What's the other cut? I was talking to Tom. We were talking to Tom Concon. He was mentioning there's another revision done by a fan. That's the
Yeah,
one I haven't
exactly.
watched
Thank you, because that's the one that I wanted to get to. In my opinion, that's the only version of David Lynch's Dune anyone ever needs to watch again, and it is free on YouTube. That is Spice Divers Alternate Edition Redux.
That's it.
That's it. That's the version you want to see.
You know,
Thank you.
as over the top as he was, I really enjoyed Kenneth McMillan in that as the Baron Harkonnen. Just when he's
amazing.
It's like it's so drastically different from what he's supposed to be in the book that you can't help but kind of love it. Where he's screaming, "My plan!"
Yes.
I need to clip that.
Yeah, no, like it was really flamboyant, and he could never get away with that. Because that Baron, he has space AIDS, because that was all the rage when the movie. Yeah, absolutely. Because the movie was filmed in the early 80s. That's when the AIDS epidemic just begun, and the Baron is a homosexual, which is where the AIDS first manifested itself. So David Lynch decided, hey, let's do this visual thing to just show right that. Let everyone know what's going on here. And that's something that would never ever apply today. So that's something that was removed in the 2000s version and in this version. But you have it there. That was like David Lynch being David Lynch in the early 80s.
Wasn't Baron Harkonnen kind of into younger individuals?
Yeah,
in the
that
book?
too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought so.
Younger individuals of the male persuasion.
And wasn't like to the point that he basically killed them.
Well, yeah, it's actually I think what the original Dune 84, right, where he's getting his treatment, and that guy, one of the servants comes in and just the plugs out.
Yeah, but that's not part of the book.
No, exactly. That was David Lynch. I mean, I'm sure that in the books, I'm fairly certain that the Baron would take some greater delight for much longer and on repeated occasions before discarding anyone so quickly.
So basically, they were just trying to build this guy up to be one sick bastard that you really need to hate.
Right.
Yeah.
In a way, then I guess.
Andre, I'm curious. You've read the books, right? You're a Herbert scholar.
Well, not to the extent that I'm a Howard scholar.
Of course.
But yeah.
But
I know the basics.
Well,
I've read a few of them.
Okay. Well, I've always maintained that pretty much you only really need to read Dune, Dune Messiah, and Children of Dune to have pretty much the best of the Dune stories. I mean, you could include God, Emperor of Dune, if you want to.
There are many that even prefer that to many of the other books. So between those four, you are covered. And if you want to proceed with anything beyond that, then absolutely feel welcome. But I would say that for most people, reading the first will suffice. But to add more meaning to the first, you should definitely also include Messiah. And by then, you'll probably be so hooked that you want to go with Children and God Emperor as well. So like those four.
And the problem is Heretics of Dune and Chapter House of Dune are set so far past the events of the original book. They're like, what, like 2,300 years apart, 3,500 years from the original?
I think it's even more than that. Yeah, it's thousands of years gap. Thousands of years.
So to me, those books seemed less
Tens
relevant.
of thousands. Yeah, I agree. It's like it's shifted so much that that like names of planets and everything have changed. So yeah, like to me, I never could get into those for that very reason.
And Herbert was planning on finishing it out with one last book after Chapter House of Dune, but he died before he could, and so of course everybody picked up the mantle afterward and started running with books, which have been almost universally reviled by the fans.
I don't know, have they?
That's my understanding.
I've heard it's pretty hit or miss with some of them. Like some of them seem to go over pretty well, like House Atreides.
Yeah, because there's that thing. I know that like the hardcore fans absolutely hate them, but still they keep on coming. So there must be like a readership for them, because they wouldn't pump out so many tens of thousands of pages of those books if there wasn't a market for them.
Yeah.
So
I've read 3 of them myself, and those 3 I thought were pretty decent.
Okay.
So since Herbert passed away before finishing up his story, do we know exactly what was there like a manuscript or something like that we know that gives us an idea of what direction he was going into?
This is an interesting story, because the ones that have followed up and expanded the Dune universe is Brian Herbert, his son, who has been greatly helped by Kevin J. Anderson, a more established author in his own right. So it's like the 2 of them that have plotted and written all of those other Dune stories. And they started with various prequels and stuff like that, but eventually they finished off the story with books 6 and 7. Now, how did they do that? Did they find a manuscript? Well, after saying for years that no, there was no manuscript or something like that, then magically, out of the blue, the son suddenly found a manuscript just when his publisher needed them to finish the story. And lo and behold, it tied perfectly in with the prequels that they had already written. Go figure. So, yeah, they're a magic manuscript materialized out of empty nothingness when they needed it the most. That's
magical coincidence.
Yes, that's the official story. And how
do you support that?
I think it sounds incredibly convenient.
Grim, do you have any questions for Andre?
No, I was just thinking, Kevin J. Anderson, he's like a machine, and he's mostly worked in tie-in novels, which aren't exactly renowned as being the best books ever. So it's little wonder they managed to churn it all out, because that's what Kevin J. Anderson does, is he writes to spec a lot.
Yeah, sorry, and this is very clearly written to spec. Like, you could tell. Like, for instance, when reading the 3 books that I have read, which is like the Butlerian Jihad trilogy, which I will say is it's pretty decent, and you could easily adapt it into like a Game of Thrones level TV series. The material for it is there. I mean, you could even have dolts like the people that did Game of Thrones and did fairly well, as long as they had the books. You could give this to them and they could handle it, because it's like that specific. It's like very clear what they have done. They've planned out the entire trilogy in advance. They've planned out every single story beat. Everything is carefully planned. And because of that, none of the characters really feel alive. All those layers and levels that you have in Frank Herbert's original writing, you don't really have that in their books. Like, for instance, that's why I think they have to write so much, because the kind of things that Frank Herbert could write in 1 page, they need 10 pages to do the same job, because I don't think that they're capable of compacting everything in as many layers. They have to make it more explicit, and that takes more space, as in more page space. So it's very carefully planned. It reads very plasticky in that sense. Like, it's not vibrant. It couldn't be more different from Robert E. Howard, for instance. But yeah, the stories are fine. If anything, they need to be shorter, because they're like too long. They have too much detail, too many characters.
Do you think if they decide? Sorry about that. Do you think if they decided to actually go forth with, say, with a TV series or some type of series in general, would it be easier handled as an animated format rather than trying to get real actors to go through it? Because it might give them a little bit more freeway with trying to explain and world build, as well as grasp attention maybe for a wider range of ages.
Actually, they are doing a series.
Oh.
It's in production. Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's actually
Is it?
delayed, and the pilot is scheduled to be directed by Denis Villeneuve himself. It's called Dune: The Sisterhood, and it will follow the Bene Gesserit and explore the Dune universe from the point of view of the Bene Gesserit, which is interesting because they're kind of like involved with everything. It has a showrunner, and it's in the process of being written. And again, it should have been here already, but there were delays.
I do remember hearing about that. I'm trying to remember what it was, though, that mentioned it. I can't remember if it was from Geeks and Gamers or if it was someone else. Or I think it was Gary that mentioned it on Nerdrotic.
Yeah, he might have. We've mentioned it a couple of times as well. And the original showrunner for it was what's his face? The same guy who John Spates.
John Spates. He's still on the IDMB. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was the one who was the original showrunner, but he dropped out or was asked to leave. I do not know the details. It could be that he was too white and too male, because he was replaced with someone who was none of those.
We're at a point in time where that is very likely a possibility.
But in terms of prequels and stuff like that, I say do it live action. I mean, this is epic stuff, like Lord of the Rings stuff, and there's no reason to do anything in animation. Personally, I feel that if you have like a live action property, there's very little reason to expand on it in animation. Of course, you can do that for the super fans, but on everything else, I kind of like feel that it's going to be difficult to treat it as canon. It's kind of like canon that can very easily be ignored. So personally, I would prefer them do everything in live action, and there's no reason not to.
If they did do it in animation, it would be fairly likely that they'd take the CG route, and I don't think that fits Dune, because it's much more. It's a human-centered, it's a humanistic vision of sci-fi away from technology, and so if you use CGI, you're kind of screwing up the spirit of it, I think.
I agree. Jace, you look like you're dying to ask something there, man. What's on your mind?
I'm not dying to ask you anything. I've heard everything that I basically need to hear.
I don't know much about.
I don't know
I'm
much
gonna have
about.
to bow out. Actually, my back is.
Well, I mean,
I'm gonna have
Grandma,
to leave.
I'm so sorry, dude. Take care, okay?
Cheers. Take care, everyone.
Bye, Grim.
Man. Yeah, nice being you.
Later, buddy.
Nice to meet you, Grim.
Hopefully, a Dune TV series doesn't end up like the Lord of the Rings TV series that they're producing right now.
That's where the animation question was attached to. You actually nailed it, Chris. I was actually worried about that because I think everyone's fearful of LOTR because we're not knowing what we're expecting.
Does anyone know what's going on with that? Because there's now a mobile Lord of the Rings game. Is that tied in with Amazon somehow?
I
don't know. Amazon.
I think the less we say, the better.
I'm so sick and tired of mobile games.
It just dawned on me that commercial, that now out of nowhere, that game has suddenly like hit the scene, and with all the talk of the Amazon series and Amazon having the rights, I couldn't help but wonder: is there something there?
I don't think. Well, I'm just speculating because I'm not a gamer. But here's like the thing: that the Amazon, they don't own the rights to the Lord of the Rings estate or anything like that, or the Tolkien estate. All they have is the TV rights to adapt Tolkien's Lord of the Rings series. That's it. So of course, it's very likely that this series, the game, is part of a marketing push. But I don't think that Amazon are going to have any kind of rights to it beyond that, because they're the production company for the TV series, and so they have nothing to do with the games. And like, for instance, look at Marvel, for instance, right? You have Marvel, or video games based on Marvel properties. You have like the Avengers games, and it looked nothing like the movie Avengers in any way, shape, or form.
True.
Because there's like no link between there. In fact, there's a deliberate attempt to create separation. And I would imagine that it's simply a matter of the Tolkien estate having licensed the game out at one party years ago, because it takes that long. And independently of each other, they have also licensed the TV series to Amazon. But quite possibly, there have been some meetings and some talks with Amazon and the game developer just to make sure that things don't.
I actually just found an article about that.
Oh,
yeah, sure. Because I'm just speculating here, but that's how it generally would be. But yeah, what does the article say?
Oh, I just pulled it up. Just that Warner Brothers announced it, so it's from the movie side of things.
Okay.
Or the movie trilogy series. This is from August, so it's not exactly the newest thing, but this was still an article about it, saying that it was Warner Brothers that had will let the fans immerse themselves in the game anywhere they go. Called Lord of the Rings: Rise to War. It takes place during the time of the original trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I've seen ads for that. To me, it just kind of seems like they're just trying to milk it a little bit more, probably to build some hype up for the new Amazon show that's coming out, or building on the hype.
Yeah,
I would say that's more accurate, since since it's Warner Brothers, means it's tied to the movies and not to what Amazon is doing.
Because there are Lord of the Rings games out there.
There's an online one. There's mobile ones. There's a whole bunch of stuff out there.
I play the online one.
Shadow of Mordor too. Like you all said, the ones for PlayStation that were great hits, and like, except for the second one with the loot box fiascos. Better than that, those games are very well known for being fantastic.
They're very lore heavy, and they're very true to at least the Lord of the Rings Online. The Standing Stones one, it's very true to the story.
Yeah, and the same thing with Dune. There's no Dune Online that I remember, but if you want to go back for like things like Dune 2000, which was like a Command and Conquer style of Dune, where you really
That's actually in development. Funcom are developing a Dune game, which is also delayed. Which is also like a huge missed opportunity, because it needed to be out like months ago. But yeah, that is actually happening, like huge multi-online whatever thing I never play on because it's not on the Mega Drive.
RPG.
Exactly.
Do you remember the good old days when companies used to coordinate and plan things out before just throwing it out there?
Yeah, but we also had the era of movie tie-in games. Remember?
That work out. I mean, hell, one of the most famous ones of those being E.T. So we're talking back to '82.
Okay, Audrey, I do have one for you though. We still, I haven't heard much about this lately, so I'm still wondering where it is in its development. But have you heard anything recently about the Conan Netflix show?
Last I heard, it's still being written, so I have no more information.
Dang it. Well, I did reacquire all of my Solomon Kane stories to
nice. Cool.
In preparation for hopefully an upcoming interview with you at some point, because I definitely still want to talk about it.
We have another Midnight's Edge in the chat.
Oh, was it? Oh,
he got lonely.
Oh. He got lonely. It's Tom. It's Tom.
Tom got lonely.
Well, we got to get him in here too if we can. Stop that. You stop that.
Midnight's Edge shirt historian.
Will Arwen be greeting him the same way as she greeted Adrian?
Hey, Tom.
I absolutely will. Yeah. I try and greet everybody that way.
It's global.
But ladies and gentlemen,
this is the Arwen Avalon greeting service.
But ladies and gentlemen, due to time zones and everything like that, I regret that I will have to leave you. But thanks for having me. It was fun.
Oh man, it was my pleasure. It's been so long since I got to talk to you. I just, I'm so glad you decided to come in.
Yeah, likewise. So yeah, thanks for having me, and have a great continued stream, and take care.
Happy
Yeah, you too.
Halloween.
Take care.
Audrey.
Bye.
Take care.
It's not
Have fun, sir.
It's okay. Bye.
Bye.
We gotta get him to play Fortnite.
Oh God, you know how much great chaos that would be.
Hey, Jace wants to set up a group to play Among Us sometime.
Yeah, just for fun. I thought about it, just for fun, just having friends, just playing Fortnite. And I Among Us.
Fortnite.
You made me think about Fortnite.
My subliminal messaging is working.
Among Us. Among Us.
I fucking hate you, Steven.
Oh.
Hey, no. Big Daddy V-Bucks. It's Big Daddy V-Bucks.
I'm still trying to get people to play Back for Blood with me, so you know.
Yeah, so
I don't know what happened.
If people are for Among Us, just have like a chill stream and just
But you know, there's so many better games than Among Us now that are doing the same thing. So I don't know.
Yeah, there's one coming free for PlayStation on the 2nd.
I'll play with you, Jace.
Yeah, just something fun. Just trying to have some fun.
Good.
Talk about whatever and play it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the only plan. Just to do something else and then just talk about shit
Fortnite.
Shit that's happening in the real world and whatever it is.
You gotta play Fortnite too.
He does. He has an account. He has played with us, Arwen.
I have, yeah.
Okay, well, I haven't played with you,
Hey,
so you gotta come play.
Hey, Fat Steven, if you want me back, you need to give me free merch, or I'm not gonna play.
No.
I'm just kidding.
No.
What are you saying no for?
Because he saw the screen.
No.
Oh God, no! They already ruined it with cell animation when they brought out that thing they called a continuation. No.
Listen, you just.
So, how much do you want to bet that they're going to change all the characters to be more diverse and everything?
You know how much of you're going to be tarnishing Kentaro Miura's legacy with this?
Oh, let's do this. Let's do this one at a time. Okay. Chris, you start with your thoughts first.
I mean, I have not seen the series, but I've heard plenty of reviews about it. I do intend to watch the older one when I can find it. And I'm not a big fan of Hollywood adapting anime. They haven't had good luck with it.
Read the books first.
You don't say.
Read the books first. Arwen, what do you think?
Oh, I'm on board with Chris on this one. I have yet to see a live action series that I've actually liked. And everything has been pooched so bad lately. I don't know. I'm not hopeful. I'm hopeful about other things. I'm not hopeful about this.
All right. Well, Castor, what do you think?
I mean, I don't have faith in generally anything Hollywood does, but I haven't read Berserk, so this is something that is definitely on my list of things to get to. So I have to preface it and say, I'm not familiar with the source material, but I generally speaking, don't trust anything Hollywood does. At this point, it's just a default. Mm-hmm. They need to prove to me that they're going to do it right.
Good deal. Jace, what do you think?
No, what I think, we have seen, a lot of live action adaptations, haven't we?
Cowboy Bebop.
I have no fucking faith in this, and they are probably going to fucking ruin it. And they're probably going to diverse the shit out of it. I have a hard feeling on that, unfortunately. And they're probably not going to respect the source material at all. We have seen that with, the other live actions they have done. Mm-hmm. So, and I don't believe in HBO. They have some good stuff and a lot of shit too. So
HBO's a myth. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Well, it is HBO. It is not Netflix, so that gives me a little bit of hope. Fat Steven, what do you think?
Who's doing this?
HBO. HBO. Yeah.
Let's look. We can take it from this perspective. If it's HBO, that means it's coming with a whole change. This might come out after the change up they're doing with HBO and DC and all that stuff, right? So we might actually have someone like the same type of mentality that pushed the Snyder Cut. So that means they're going to give enough money and enough content and enough respect that whoever's vision is behind this, they will respect our dearly departed creator and actually make something worthwhile. If it was Netflix, my head would already be up my ass and I'd be claiming I'm an ostrich.
And Mac, obviously you must be reading Berserk, Mac, because you were the one who was hurt by this the most.
I'm not. I I agree with Fat Steven. Is that I think this will do a lot more respect to Mira's work. It's just I don't see how this is going to be any. This is going to be. I just got a feeling this is going to be squandered in some way, shape, or form, and I feel like it's not gonna. It's not even if it's not even if it turns out to be good. I still don't think it's gonna be. I still think it might do a disservice. Potentially do a disservice to his legacy. I'm just saying.
Okay, and these are all fair comments. Now, you know me, I am a massive Berserk fan. You know, everybody knows how I feel about Berserk.
Yeah.
So, my perspective, my thoughts on this. Of course, I want to see this because I love Berserk, and I'm happy to get more Berserk. But at the same time, I kind of agree with Zach's. I don't think they can really make it work because in order to do it, they're going to have to do so much CGI. They're going to have to do so much, you know.
How much do you want to bet that they're going to take the female character and make her a black woman?
Who, Casca?
Yeah.
She's dark skinned already, so she could be a black person in the film. That would not bother me so much.
This is live action, right?
Yeah, this is live action.
This is live action.
Yeah, that now that I think that it ignites my worries and my concerns a bit more, just because live action, doing live action adaptations of anime, it's so few and far between, and it's so done with.
And have they
respect?
Talked about, have they talked about if it's going to be like PG-13 or R-rated or any stuff like that?
Well,
because anime and manga is pretty.
It's HBO. It's HBO, you know, and
I know, but still.
I hate to point out Game of Thrones, considering how upset I was by it.
Yeah. Let me ask you.
But let's start off. HBO did a really good job on the first, second, and third seasons of Game of Thrones. Yes, they deviated from the source material, but they started out strong. They had violence. They had nudity. They had pretty good CGI. These are components of Berserk. And they were kind of not afraid to shy away from, you know, squidgy topics like incest and such. So, you know, and Berserk does deal with some very, you know, nasty things.
Yeah. Well, maybe the live action can surprise us or whatever, but you know, we have seen what have happened before when they have made live action stuff, anime or manga, and so you know, you have other manga and anime adaptations that was not made by Netflix, and they still sucked at that time too.
Exactly.
Mostly. It's like the only good movie that I've seen that are like based on anime and manga and stuff is, you know, Battle or that. What's the name again? Alita Battle Angel. Yeah, that's like the most decent one that I have seen.
I would argue to an extent Speed Racer as well.
Okay,
I absolutely love Speed Racer. So
all I remember about it is John Goodman suplexed a ninja.
Yeah, no, right.
That wasn't bad, actually. I have to admit that was not bad. That was at least enjoyable. And I fucking love Alita.
The question is just that you look at the question is, how much are they going to change?
Yeah,
right.
How much are they going to change? The warning. Look at the warning signs. If they say for a modern audience, that's a gigantic red flag for me.
Yes.
Right. I agree.
How much are they going to change?
100%
How much are they going to? This is going to cause a stir. This is going to cause a major stir on Twitter on both sides of the aisle.
The phrasing for modern audience, updating the source material, yada yada, anything that involves altering it for modern politics is enough for red flags to say, hold on.
Hold up.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
Right here.
Yeah. Now, I mean, the original source material does have a lot of Southwest Asian cultures represented in it as enemies or bad guys, sort of. So that's probably going to be something that's going to make them get a little squidgy.
Well, I mean, this is told from the perspective of the Japanese culture, so
it is. It is.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem. Is that it's just like this is one of those properties that I'm not saying it's impossible to do a live action adaptation of. It's impossible. I'm saying it's impossible to do a live action adaptation of this in the times that we're living in right now.
I kind of agree. I think the timing on this is bad.
That's why I said that
Yeah.
they would probably change the female character to a black character, because in Asia, how many black characters are there around that are actually from Africa?
Well, you know, I laugh in Mr. Popo from Dragon Ball. That's all I could say.
Well, to be fair, in the 4 Kids dub, they did turn him blue.
Yeah, well,
Nobody likes Blue Popo.
Yeah, but is Mr. Popo one of those characters, or is he just a caricature that was some of another kind?
If I really wanted to, I could go through all the anime and manga out there and point out every time a character who was historically black was made to kind of look like one of those southern racist caricature types with the big pink lips and stuff.
Commander Black in the original Dragon Ball.
Yeah,
Jinx and Pokemon.
That is very true.
Yeah. I mean, come on, that stuff exists. It's because Japan, Japan gives no fucks.
Yeah,
but
Japan doesn't care about being racist.
Yeah. But here's the real thing that kind of bugs me about it. There's 2 big things that bug me about this whole thing. The first is, in order for this to happen, Miura's estate or whoever is currently controlling the Berserk properties, probably Young Animal Comics, had to okay it with HBO. And I know that they sincerely do love Miura. They really felt his loss, and believe me, it was very heartfelt by all the Japanese community, all the mangaka and everything who contributed to that final issue. That I pointed out. Everybody loved Miura, so
I remember in
they have
Final
to make
Fantasy,
it. They have to make it good.
So in Final Fantasy 14, when he passed away,
tribute.
everyone was dressing up as Dark Knights and like all in tribute. Like, and they want to make it in the news a bit.
All right. So they had to sign off on this for one thing. But the other thing that gets me is Miura did not finish Berserk.
Exactly.
So what are they going to do? How is it going to end?
Does
Does this mean that the Berserk series is going to continue at Young Animal Comics?
And that's another thing. It's just even if they stay true to it, they don't. It's very faithful. I know it's probably going to be changes, of course, but if they stay faithful for the most part, it still won't live up to. It still won't live up to what came before it in any way, shape, or form.
No, of course.
Didn't one of his assistants? Didn't it come out that one of his assistants was gonna finish it up or continue it?
I honestly haven't heard. As of reading, like I said, the final issue, like I did a few months ago, there was no plans to continue at that time, or they were not sure if they were going to continue at that time. So maybe they finally come to a resolution. And we don't know how early this announcement really is. I mean,
That's true.
I haven't seen anything official from HBO, to be quite honest.
It probably would. The ideal thing to do is in respect for the creator, to basically finish up the story the best one could with his notes, and just find a stopping point. Find a good stopping point to say, okay, the story's done with. We're going to respect the creator and stop.
I hate to interrupt, but I gotta get going and set up, dude. I have a show.
No, you can't leave.
Okay.
You can't leave.
Fat.
You have to stay here forever and ever and ever.
Well,
it's good seeing you, man. You take care.
But Steven, if you don't leave, who's gonna grift?
Yeah.
I'm grifting in the pub chats and the alcoholic beverages tonight, so that's what I'm grifting.
Oh, okay.
Well, I've got that right here.
It's members of Friends Stream, StreamYard's open with respect. So yes.
Oh, all right. I might pop in on you then.
So, yeah, just let me know. We'll see y'all in a little bit. Thank you, and ever remember, subscribe to McKinney Draws because
thank you.
T-shirt put me in the back. Fuck him.
Well, what I was going to say was, I honestly think that, and I kind of believe this. I remember watching a video from your boy Zach saying this, but maybe it was better to leave the story unfinished.
Yeah,
maybe leave
so.
it unfinished because I think that adds more to the legend. It actually gives it much more gravitas, and it gives it much more legendary status because it was unfinished.
Yeah, I really don't know.
Thought.
It's a thought.
But you just with this live action, just try to hope for the best. But
I can't trust HBO Max. Like with everything you guys are saying, and I do agree. And to an extent, I think HBO Max it would probably be in better hands, but just probably slightly.
Well, I
totally agree. If it's in Netflix, it would be an absolute disaster.
Yeah, I'm so glad it's HBO that picked it up and not Netflix, because that would have been horrible.
If it was on the CW,
I don't have
a show anymore. Netflix would have a poly relationship between the three main characters, and
there'd be a lot of emotions in hallways.
Okay, a
lot of cheesy teen Netflix drama.
Oh, I'm sure Griffith and Guts would be totally gay.
If this was on the CW, there would be riots.
It's the end of the world.
All right. Well, everybody's got stuff they got to do, so I'm gonna go ahead and start letting everybody, plug their stuff and get on out of here so you can get along with your rest of your night, because I know Halloween. So let's do this. All right, we're gonna start with you, Mac.
All right.
Or wait, you're Chris. Wait a minute, Mac. How you've changed?
Anyway.
Can't see the difference anymore.
Oh, wait a minute. We can't do it yet. Hang on a minute. We got Tom. Tom showed up
at the last moment.
At the last moment. Hey, Tom.
At the last moment,
kids.
Hey, Tom.
How are you doing, man?
Oh, doing all right. Oh, you guys are wrapping up. That's fine. Yeah.
Well, we were talking about Dune earlier. We were talking about just now talking about HBO doing Berserk, the live action.
How about Japan giving
like a truck berserker? Would you like?
How about Japan giving Yoshiyuki Tomino a cultural award, making it honoring him with a cultural award for his contribution with Gundam.
Well, they did
his contributions of cultural significance.
Yes, thank you.
And it's a major contribution.
Oh, look, Fat Steven showed back up because Tom is
Fuck
here.
you, Tom. Give me $500.
I don't know you shit.
Fuck you, Tom. Give me $500.
Well, I mean, Gundam is like
Go get me some cotton candy.
One of the three largest or the largest franchise in Japan.
Goddamn Mongolian, give me that $500.
For some, it was the first anime they ever watched.
It still amazes me that like they let China build the Freedom Gundam in Shanghai.
Oh my gosh,
I find it erotic.
That was a thing that happened.
Guys, we can't get into a whole nother discussion on Gundam right now. Trying to wrap the show up.
Bye, merch. Fuck you, Tom. I love you all. Take care. Bye, bye.
But we could go a discussion of It's a Gundam, maybe. No,
I love It's a Gundam. He's great. But Tom, you got any thoughts on the Dune movie? Just real quick.
Oh, I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Okay.
I hope we get a part 2.
We got a part 2 coming. That's what they say.
Oh yeah, I mean, true. I mean, a decent part 2, I should say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because here's like the thing is like I've told a lot of people like, yeah, we're in an area now that's already been tread. Now we're gonna move into ground that hasn't been tread on the big screen. Yeah, it has on the miniseries, but as we know, Lynch's movie deviates from the original source material from here on out. So for those who aren't too familiar with it otherwise, it's going to be kind of interesting to see how people react to it.
Okay. What do you think about this new wave of people who have seen the film but haven't actually read the books, and they're already starting in on those of us old fans who are giving, more or less honest and valid criticism to the new film.
I mean, as far as like you mean other people enjoying it quite a bit and saying, "Oh, you're being an idiot for bitching about it," or what do you mean?
Well, yeah, I mean, we've got people who are just getting up and saying things like, "Oh, you old Dune readers and all that are just hating on the new film because it's not exactly what you wanted." But that doesn't speak to you.
I don't know about the speak to you part, but I can totally understand somebody having a preconceived notion in their head, especially considering how old of a book Dune is. It's like, well, it's easy to go, I wouldn't do it this way. I'd rather they did this. I wish that was in there. And no matter what you do in an adaptation, you're going to leave somebody's favorite part out. It never fails. I'm much more lenient with adaptations depending on what they do with the source material. Like, because I've even had friends like early on through the Marvel universe was just like, it's not just like the comics. I hate it. And I get that point of view, and so I understand it and I have to respect it. Do I think it's a legitimate way to go through life and watch your entertainment? No, because it's an unrealistic expectation that everything is going to be, shot for shot, beat for beat, line for line, like a book or a comic. It's just impossible to do that. But what they've done with Dune so far, it's been a lot of show not tell, which is fine by me. The normie audience seems to be following along just fine. Sure, there's many things I would have loved they had done better. I didn't like the score. There's a few of the cast I might have made a few different choices on, but no, overall, it's still arguably the best movie of the year, both subjectively and objectively. By the way it was filmed and made and put together, and I mean, it's one of those movies that's not only popcorn fun, but it can also be considered like Oscar bait in a way. So it has that fine line, like the line, Lord of the Rings had. So it'll be interesting to see how it kind of is, adopted by the zeitgeist compared to things like Lord of the Rings.
Okay, well, that's cool. Yeah, I think I've already said my piece enough about the film, so I'm not going to go into it again.
Yeah, and I unfortunately can't say much.
Well, I'm glad that it hooked you enough to want to get into it, though, Jace. That's the good thing.
That's a good part with it.
And I think ultimately that's probably one of the best things that a movie like this could do, that it could get people to want to go check out the earlier stuff, to go check out the miniseries.
One thing they could have done with the movie is removing that actress from the fake MJ, as I call her.
Queen Squint.
Yeah, because she's
Zendaya.
She's not MJ, but she is somewhat MJ, and
I just think that's a red flag.
She acts the same every time in every movie. So when I saw her like in the movie,
oh, you mean Zimbabwe?
I just cringed so much when I saw her, because I will be honest, I think she can't act at all. She is the same character in every fucking movie or TV show or whatever.
That is unfortunately becoming kind of a regular staple of a lot of our newer actors.
Yeah, I agree. The range is just not there.
She's super popular. She's huge.
I'd like to do my Zendaya impression.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
I am kind of missing the old days where like actors actually they were basically kind of like on par with Broadway actors.
Yeah.
True. Well, maybe they need to do some more summer stock or something. I don't know. But anyway, let's close this sucker out. So Mac, we'll try this again. Mac.
That's the right person now.
I got the right person this time.
Okay. Make sure you get
okay.
It was like you pick Mac and then you say Tom and it shows Tom. I was like, wait a minute, Tom. Sorry. Anyway, I got a lot going on. First off, I guess I'll probably just share this right now. Brand new sticker set. I'm very happy and very excited to announce this. I'm going to be showing this more on the dump on Sporky News Podcast stream tonight, so check me out there. Tonight also I will be doing a Fortnite stream tonight, so if you guys want to jump in, hang out with me on Twitch or on YouTube, let me know, and I will we'll do a Saturday night Fortnite session. Tomorrow I have to be working, so I'm moving the Machini live stream. Is going to be moved to tomorrow night at 7 p.m. where we're going to do a full reveal of the new stickers here. By the way, they are available
best you can do, man. Best you can do. All
and
right.
I'm trying to get Arwen on. She hasn't responded back to me on which day she'd be available.
Yes.
There you go. Chris, what you got?
Well, first thing I want to say is that Arwen did not properly greet Tom when he got in here,
God.
so that is
I know,
I'm very
right?
disappointed in her.
We will get
we
her.
only heard it faintly. We need to hear it in clear. You need
Yes,
We'll get her to do it.
Get the
We'll get her to do
soundboard
it.
out.
Hang on. Just hang on. Just hang on. We'll get her to do it.
Well, I am Chris, aka Xgen, and you will find me on Jace's channel on 540 Studios. We talk about geeks and sometimes the occasional politics. Mostly you'll see me on the Beyond show on Thursday evenings, and also we have a show that we're trying to get revived, which kind of taking a little slow. Tales from the Jedi Archives on Sunday evenings, where we talk about stuff from the Star Wars EU, not the Dis canon stuff, but the actual EU canon. So come and enjoy with us. And I pop in here and there on other shows. Like, for example, Ironcaster's review shows of the original Gundam series, which is on Tuesday afternoons.
Well, now I'm having a hard time to know which one to put up first, so I'm going to just go with Jace. Since...
Hi.
I was pressured to talk about other ones.
No, of course, you can find me on 540 Studio, our channel. You can also find me here, Fat Steven sometimes, Pop Culture Minefield. I'm a little bit here and there. And the Monday shows, are coming back with my fantastic co-host Claw. It's going to be fun to have him back. He's currently started streaming more on Twitch at the moment. He plays the new Guardians of the Galaxy game. He likes it so far. But other than that, thanks for having me on. It's always a pleasure to be here.
I'm glad you're here.
And you asked me. I did get a new tattoo on my face because I'm stupid. So I'm not used to being on a camera anymore.
You're gonna have to get used to it, man.
I have to get used to that again. But still, on the Beyond show, you can find me mostly, and I'm gonna do more gaming streams just to have something to do. I have opened up, so I do more editing for people if they're interested. I'm pretty excited to do the Crow show with Ironcaster. I'm really excited to show the full intro that I worked on, and talk about one of my all-time favorite movies. And other than that, just remember, life's too short. Make the most of it. And everyone in the chat and this fellowship, if it wasn't for you guys, we would never have been here. So thanks from the bottom of our hearts.
Okay.
And buy our merch.
Yes, buy our merch. Okay, so there you go, Iron.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Hello. Iron, you've kind of become a little more fuzzier than you normally are.
Of course, my camera can't focus, but I am Ironcaster, and I do sometimes talk about big robots. Of course, as been mentioned, we do a Tuesday stream on my channel where we talk about the original anime Mobile Suit Gundam. And on Mondays, we've been doing some movie streams where we even talk about some classic movies. Like last week, we talked Ghostbusters. And this upcoming Monday, we will be talking about the Hammer Films version of The Mummy. And if I can get in tomorrow, I want to do a gaming stream to show off some mech games.
Awkward silence. Come on, let's talk about some more stuff here.
Okay.
So I just hit 150 subscribers this past week, so I wanted to get into a gaming stream or something to celebrate that for myself.
Nice, man.
Very cool. Very cool. All right.
And
well, let's put up Arwen. Unfortunately,
hold on.
Tom left. Tom already left, unfortunately.
Ironcaster, you've actually gone past 150. You're now 162.
Oh, dang.
Ooh.
Nice.
Big guy.
Thank you.
Okay. Of course, thank you, T-shirt Sweetheart, for having me on. I love the show. I love being on here, and I really appreciate it. God, let's see. You'll find me playing Fortnite with Bat Steven. You'll find me on Fantasy Story Ideas. Mark's Sunday Night Geekery, Mary's Game Room next week. Of course, Pink and Purple in the afternoon at 5:00. On Wednesday, we'll be on Purple's channel this coming week or next coming week, whatever. Let's see, Clobby's Global Geek Gang, Pegasus Actual Podcast. Shit, I just got to make my schedule on Monday and I'll let y'all know. It'll be a post. It'll be pinned on my Twitter. So you can find me there. So.
All right. Well, it's great seeing you on here. All right. And let me do this the right way. One moment, please. Who's typing?
Un momento.
Smashing
Y'all
that.
didn't hear me type, did y'all?
We did. You're
I'm
smashing
sorry.
them keys. You're hitting those keys like there's just like no tomorrow, man.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Well, this has been your T-shirt historian with the Weekend Geek. I hope you have enjoyed today's presentation with our surprise guest, Andre from Midnight's Edge and Tom from Midnight's Edge. Awesome times. I'm so glad they showed up, and what a really great treat for Halloween for me. In any case, I hope you have a great Halloween, have a great weekend, stay safe, don't do anything too tricky, because, you know, we have laws. Other than that, have a great weekend, and enjoy the new outro.